at the house.
No, I'm going
Thank
over
you
the,
for this.
I'm going over the Siskiyous Friday.
On the way in.
That's not
What's
good.
that? Tyler on the way in.
Well, you'll get some snow down there for sure.
It is that time of year.
You have to drive all those Siskiyous?
Yeah.
Driving, yeah. I'm taking my Corvette.
Chains?
Not the best car to take in snow.
Yeah, you don't want to put chains on that, probably.
No.
You might wanna wait it out.
Well, you just time it with it.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Mhm.
Did you get logged in, Bill?
I think so. Yeah, seems to be.
Excellent.
No, I still got a triangle. 1212 connection, capital C, okay, capital S.
hmm
Yeah.
And then just a T. It's not the whole word.
No internet.
What are we
security.
deciding to?
What's that?
What do we do?
He's got a new laptop,
New
new HP 2-in-1.
2-in-1, the kind that does this kind of stuff, and but it's light, it's small. It's,
Yeah, those
Yeah,
things
so-
are super lightweight.
Yeah.
So he's trying to log into the Wi-Fi here at the church, and it's not working.
No internet security. Huh. But-
So,
Well, give me the internet.
Yeah, it's shows that you're at it, but you're trying disconnecting.
Okay. Well,
See if we get
Yeah.
something there, because I'm on. Looks like Bob's got internet.
Mm-hmm.
I've got internet. Well, I think I've got internet.
Okay, finally pop on.
You're good now? Okay. Might have been some kind of
Yeah.
just hiccup.
Especially the new first time.
Yeah. All right. So, just, it's hard to believe it's December 14th.
Isn't it?
yeah, very hard.
Getting a little worried about all the Christmas shopping. That normally Beck and I have talked a lot about what's been gotten, you know, on our lists for both our sides of the family, and I don't know if we haven't had that conversation yet. I think we've been focused on some other things, and so
Make sure you got everybody covered, huh?
yeah, you know, we typically shop for our own sides of the family.
Mhm.
So I'll shop for my dad and my
Mhm.
brothers and nieces and nephews, and she'll shop for her side. So, but we still normally talk about it, and that hasn't happened yet. So, anyway, it's crunch time.
Mhm.
They were saying that tomorrow, I think December 15th, is the last day for you to order something online with standard shipping to be able to get it. Obviously, if you have Amazon Prime and you have the 2-day, that's a different story. But this is kind of, tomorrow is the deadline. It's crunch time for.
First off, it's crunch day today. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so by.
Yeah,
Did your packages come on Amazon that you were waiting for? You were waiting for, well, that was a couple weeks ago.
no, yeah, we got stuff. What I'm waiting for, so I ordered a couple of presents online from a box store, a typical
Oh,
retail store.
yeah.
But I went to their online shop because they had they had 30% off their entire website.
Oh.
Really good. And so they were the lowest prices for what I was looking for anywhere else. So I ordered them. And anyway, it took an entire week for them to process my order.
Oh, wow.
And so I just got shipping notice last night, which was just, or your item is shipped, but I don't know if you've experienced this, but It's simply your tracking number, and when I plug it in, they haven't even received.
They didn't
The
get a
post office
confirmation or
hasn't-
anything.
The post office hasn't received the package yet, so that the label's been created, but the post office still doesn't have it. So anyway, again, tracking numbers, they're great yet horrible things. And yet twice though, I got tracking numbers from 2 different companies, and the package was already on its way by the time I got the
By the
tracking
time
number.
you got the-
I'd rather have that than the paranoia of
Not
you've
knowing the phone.
yeah, one package I had the tracking number for a good 4 days before it was even picked up from the seller. And so you're just sitting there and punching in each day, and it just says, order's been received, but we don't have the package in hand yet. Then it has to go through the shipping process. Anyway.
Get that third party in there. And then it's-
Yes. Well, and what I found really interesting is both UPS and FedEx, and I don't know if it's because it's the holiday season, but they have been, they must have some kind of deal with the post office, because as of late, every single package from UPS and FedEx have gone to the post office for delivery day, which I thought was interesting. Are the coffee mugs not there?
Bill's tracking that.
That's interesting. I've never seen that basket with the mugs not there before. So anyway, that's just and it might just be the holidays that they don't have time to come to a small town. It's not worth their effort, so then they just drop it off at a post office in Olympia, and then it goes out for us, which is fine. All right. Enough of my shipping paranoia. Anybody have any questions? Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how they ended up there. Any
Coffee
questions? Coffee Bob?
I think
Questions, concerns? We got Bill's laptop, his keyboard is working.
It was frozen this morning. I couldn't get any place, and then turned off. We're good. But it does have a virtual keyboard, so I find that,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Which
it's
is
called
excellent.
I guess,
Yeah.
is that what it's called, virtual keyboard,
Yeah.
when you got the pop-up?
Yep.
I'm finding, I may have to get a mouse, because one of my programs, my Heritage, my genealogy program, I try to click and open, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really slow doing that.
Yeah.
I may want to get a wireless keyboard mouse.
Some of the more traditional software probably isn't optimized, I should say, for touch. It'll work, but it's probably not optimized for something like that. But yeah, and I've always, I don't know, I've always been a fan of, just a mouse.
Yeah.
This one is actually wireless. It's Bluetooth also. But by plugging it in, I'm not using the battery. I'm just using the juice from the computer. And so if I want to go wireless, like if I'm traveling or for any reason, this just pops out,
Oh, okay.
and it's now wireless.
So we do have a question.
Bluetooth mouse. Yeah.
We recently got the updates on Windows 10.
Okay.
And when we did that,
That-
then Cortana,
Yeah.
showed up.
Uh-huh.
I know you've talked about Cortana before, but good
Right.
or bad, but now that we're using it and trying to use it and talking to the computer, what has your success been, or what's your thoughts on it?
I haven't used it much since my computer flipped out and I switched over to a Mac.
Oh, okay.
But Cortana is basically the equivalent of Siri or Google Now. If you've got an Android phone, you press the button and you talk to OK Google or OK Google. But I Are you asking how good is she, or are you asking
Or
what kinds of things
Is there
does
any
she?
security issues or?
It's my understanding is she's basically point for point like Siri, and so it goes up. Anything you say and do with her goes up to the Microsoft servers in your account
Mhm.
and stays there.
Yeah, because they track history of him. She tracked her.
Yeah, in case you want to, just like if you do a Google search, Google will track that search history, make it faster and more relevant if you do that search over again, things like that. And so, yeah, she'll do that. She'll track that. You can have her learn your voice so that you can talk to her instead of typing in. You can search for both things on your computer and things on the web. And she'll do quick things like weather and sports updates and different things like that.
Nothing, great big red flags anyhow.
No, I mean, obviously don't.
Do you have her download?
Yeah, she comes, I mean, you don't have to use
Oh,
Cortana,
you took it off?
but Cortana is,
Over button. She says, hi there.
yes, she's very nice.
And a lot of times that's thinking.
Yes, Siri does that a lot too, especially if you don't have good signal.
She's thinking.
Yeah, but she's talking.
Traveler's mindset.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know how to get photos in from the phone into the computer.
Yes.
But how do I get them off the phone?
Off the phone. You would go into the Photos app
Yeah.
and then manually delete them.
Ah,
And you can. So, let's see if we can get this up on the screen.
select.
Yeah, select, and then you just start tapping them. So you can see that up on the screen. You just start tapping them, and they'll get they'll highlight a different color a little bit, and they've got the blue check mark on them. And then there's the trash can in the bottom right corner. And I actually learned that if you, is it hold? No. If you just kind of lightly tap and drag, I just learned this the other day. I wasn't even trying to do it.
Or you can do.
You can,
Doing groups.
yeah, you can select a huge group of them. It's
Tap and drag.
not really tap. You just kind of,
Oh, I got it.
you just kind of
Hover,
touch.
Yeah.
Heavy
Yeah.
hover. Huh?
Yeah, because you're not really tapping. Because if you tap, then it'll try to load the photo. But if you just kind of touch and then drag your finger across, which is really cool because I've always just,
It's time
manually
Yeah.
punched
It'd be a lot of pictures.
each one. Yeah, I mean, you can go and grab a whole section of pictures.
I think I did mine by a year one time.
Yep, there.
Went into
Oh my gosh.
albums or something. I don't remember now.
Yeah, there's different.
But I did whole 1914 or 2014 that I didn't want on there.
Yeah, so that's something interesting to look at. This is your out. So you can go to this is how it used to be. Is you used to have, well, originally it was your photos. There were no albums that you could create.
Mhm.
But now you can create different albums, and there's some automatic albums that they have for you. But then you can go over to Photos, which is on the bottom left, and it does it by date. So those are the ones that I took yesterday. We had a Christmas party with the youth down at.
By date, that's stored in the metadata for the photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it doesn't have to have which the phone doesn't do the physical timestamp. But even if, so anyway, then you can back out and you can see chunks of time. So that's October to December, and locations. and then you back out even more, and now you've got 2015 all the way back to 2010.
And that can take a lot of storage out of your.
Yes, especially
phone if you're getting
videos.
full.
Especially videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you can create different albums to and yeah, one of the new albums that the phone auto generates is selfies. So anytime you turn the camera to the front facing camera, it'll put those pictures in the
really?
selfie folder.
By itself.
Yeah. So apparently I've taken 347 selfies. So it'll do things like that, which can be helpful. But you can also, you can save, if you take a trip, you can either manually create a folder and do the trip, or it'll have that in that bottom left section. It'll have them by date and location. And you can turn off location services so that it doesn't, if you post something to social media, it won't tell people where that picture was taken, especially if you're posting to like Facebook or Twitter from your mobile device. It'll automatically want to do that because they assume you want people to know where you are. Yes, unless you're somewhere you shouldn't be. And one of the things so you can hide that, but I think it's still, I could be wrong, but I think it's still in the metadata along with the timestamp. So it's not as easy to get to, but I think it's still there.
So when I
So I could be wrong. Yes.
batch a minute ago, it says
Yep.
these go to the recently deleted.
Yes, there's a recently deleted folder in case you change your mind. And that'll be 30 days.
Okay.
Or you can say, oh, I absolutely know I don't want these. And then you can go into that folder, recheck them again, and delete them. Yep.
What's expensive?
Expensify? Oh, that's that's how I keep track of mileage and expenses.
That's one you created.
No,
Oh.
I don't know why it did that. It auto-created that folder. But it's a really neat program because, we'll help people with gas.
Okay.
And I can take a picture of my receipt, and it's called Smart Scan. And we're talking about a program called Expensify. And that's how I keep track of my mileage and expenses here.
It's an app, actually.
It's an app.
Okay.
And so it's got Smart Scan. So I will take a picture of the receipt that I just got someone for gas at Arco. That was a bad sentence. And it'll know that it was Arco. It'll know it was done on December 14th, and it'll find the total, and it'll auto insert the total and everything for you. And you can punch, for mileage, you can punch in the government reimbursement rate, and then so all you have to do is enter how many miles you drove, and it will auto calculate. Yeah, not that it's that hard to do the math of, 56.5 cents or whatever it is.
Rate.
I think 56.5 is the current rate. Hasn't changed in a while. It was fluctuating a lot
Well, Social Security.
last year.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. We just got our updated
Yes.
Social Security with zero change.
Well, yeah, it's probably gearing up for
But that-
2016.
What, this week they're going to bump
Well,
Fed's gonna do their,
that's speculation.
when it comes down to it, we'll see whether they.
So for free, you can do, I think it's like you can scan 10 receipts a month for free. And then if you want to do more than that, then you have to pay. But I've never had more than 10.
So the photos that are living in your recently deleted, they're still
Taking
data.
up space.
Yeah.
Yep. I know, it's kind of,
So speak-
it's a nice feature, especially for when you have a 2.5-year-old that
Yeah.
doesn't entirely, like she grabbed the TV remote, the cable remote, not the TV, the cable remote, and almost reset the cable box, which would have erased all of our DVR shows and everything. And she didn't. She almost did it twice. In fact, she's just got the right combination down or something. I'm not sure. So
So
crazy.
streaming music,
yes,
if you want to use your phone to listen to music
yes,
through a Bluetooth speaker or something.
Yep.
How data hungry is that?
that's a great question. And I don't know the answer. Let's see if we can learn together. And I usually am not too concerned because if you're on the road, it will take up data. You're doing a little road trip because you're doing cellular. But over your Wi-Fi, your home Wi-Fi you get lots. So that wouldn't affect that.
I had noticed that my voicemail was
Thank you.
99% full, whatever.
Yes, you should be here for that.
Anyways, I noticed that my voicemail was like 99% full, and then I went to the app, I went to settings, and I realized that I had checked the block that said, save them all forever.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I went in, changed it to save them for 30 days only.
Yeah.
It dropped a couple of hundred voicemails.
Yeah.
Yeah, voicemails. You can also do that with text messages, because anytime someone sends you
A text, same thing.
a text doesn't take up much, but if they send you a photo,
Yeah,
you're getting the full image. And if they're sending you a video, sometimes we
So I
send.
go into settings.
You go into settings. I think it's settings, messages.
Messages.
Yeah, I think
Messages.
settings, messages. Yep, there it is. Scroll all the way to the bottom. It should be at the very top of the screen. And it says keep messages. And I have mine for 30 days.
Okay, I'm in settings.
Settings, then messages.
Okay, go to messages.
And then scroll all the way to the bottom. And the very top part of that should say keep messages. If not, scroll
Who's your
up a little
carrier,
bit.
Mark?
Verizon.
Because
Oh,
I went into.
yeah, I've got it for 30
Yeah, you
days,
see
so
for
that's
music.
probably where it should be.
I didn't
Yeah.
get, unfortunately, it didn't have Verizon, it had T-Mobile, and they had free movie streaming without using data.
Oh,
But I don't see anything for Verizon.
All right, let's see.
That's a good question.
Pandora's.
Verizon is advertising now that you can, on their network, you can watch all the NBA games. They somehow have an app for that you don't have to pay for. But I wonder, there must be data. They must want you to watch them, or gobble up the data on
Yeah, I wonder about that too. Another question would be if you create a mobile hotspot,
Yes.
does that eat up a lot? Does that eat, you're using data?
Well, it simply depends on. If you're broadcasting, it's not using data. But if you connect a device to it, then you are whatever you're doing on that. Say I'm out and about.
Yeah.
We're shopping at Kohl's, and I've got no shopping to do, and I've got both my phone and my iPad with me. I turn the hotspot on my phone, stick my phone in my pocket, and then connect on my iPad. Whatever I'm doing on my iPad determines how much data I'm eating up. It basically, you're just transferring your data usage from your one device to the other device. So if I was doing that exact same stuff on my phone, it's no different than doing it on my phone. I'm just doing it on a larger screen.
Okay, well, maybe that'll be okay. Because what I have is, I have a program I just shared with Mark called PDF Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it on my little tab, but basically when I'm out in the woods, I can call up the map and there's a cursor that moves on the map, so I
Right.
know exactly where I am on the
Mhm.
map and whether I made the right turn or wrong turn,
Mm-hmm.
or I can put a flag in.
Right.
And so, and I think I've used that before. It was, I'll have to, when I'm out there, I'll have to see if I'm using data or not.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
Or I could take this now, but I'd
Mhm.
have to create a hotspot out there for this to reach into.
To talk to, if your phone has it, yeah. But yeah, if your phone has it, and I think we've
Yeah,
talked
the
about
phone
that
has
with
it.
Mark before, with you know, gazing at the stars or different things like that, or having you know, internet in the barn or something like that, you would, you know, use your phone cellular signal as the internet source, and then you would connect it to either your laptop or your tablet
So
or
if you're using
other
4G,
device.
you're using data.
Yes. Yep. So here's a rough answer to your question, Mark. Beats Music, Spotify, Google Play Music are high quality streams that max out at 300. Anyway, they're high quality, meaning the sound is better. And I'm guessing that the new Apple Music is probably up there because it's, I think, based off Beats Music because Apple bought Beats. And then it says Pandora is the only mainstream service that does 64 instead of 320, so much less quality. So what does that mean in terms of your data plan? Those higher rate ones translate to 2.4 megs a minute or 115 megs an hour. So if
10
you,
hours for a gigabyte.
yep, so if you were to stream for an 8-hour workday, you'd be burning roughly a gig of your data.
Well, that's, but you're right, in the house, it'd be hitting the Wi-Fi, so who
Yep,
cares?
yeah, so if you're hitting the Wi-Fi, it's nothing. Nothing to be concerned about.
Pandora sounds pretty good on my little Bose speaker.
Yeah, no, Pandora's, I mean, 64 is fine. I mean, you're, I don't know, 320 is, you know, for people who are really, truly concerned about everything. I mean, I don't even hear, Becca tells me, you know, oh, I completely botched that one part of the song. I have no idea. And so that's how I translate this kind of thing. For me, 320 versus 64, you know, maybe I'd be able to hear the difference. And it's not just that, it depends on the speaker as well. I mean, if you've got junk speakers, then it doesn't matter how good the sound is. It's, I mean, obviously there'd be a difference between a cassette tape and,
You get your piano performance
yes,
merit badge, then you'll appreciate it.
exactly.
Did Liz play y'all service yesterday?
She did not, she
was unbelievable.
She was fantastic.
Oh, that's why she mentioned it. at the
Yes, she
second-
mentioned it in her sermon. Yeah, she played,
Prelude.
yeah, they're,
Played the whole service.
yes, she's,
Oh.
since
Is she
Suzanne's
gonna be part
retirement,
of
we've
the
got a,
Battle of the Pianos?
yes, she is.
That's next week, not this week.
Not this week. The very last Wednesday will be
Battle of the
6-hand pianos.
Pianos. There was a video recently of 8 pianos.
Yes,
Did
some
you see
college
that?
student. I did not see it, but I heard it went viral really fast.
Yeah.
4 college students.
They're just having fun.
Yep. And apparently they weren't, not that they were, I don't think that they were truly upset, but it was like their first time running through the piece. And
Interesting
so,
when you Google Mark Marcy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's about 5 of them now.
Are there?
At one point, there was only 2. The other one I never heard of him.
all right.
He's an okay guy,
Let's see.
too.
Well, this
Oh,
guy,
he's an okay guy. So, but now these other 3 or 4, I don't know.
one's in Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
one's in Seattle area. That must be you.
All right. Any other questions? Good questions.
So, I had a question.
Yep.
I bought a GoPro
Nice.
clearance, and it says on the box, it says 1080p, 720p.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go into the brochure, it alludes to 4K. So I Googled it last night, and it says it'll do 4K at something, 15 FPS, which I assume is frames per second.
Frames per second.
Then by the time you're down to 1080p, it's 320 frames per second or something.
Mm-hmm.
So so at 4K, 15 frames per second, it's crisp, but it's not very fluid.
Right.
What type of camera did you buy? Is it
Oh, they're little GoPros, they're little action
so they take
cameras.
videos and stills?
Yeah, they're mostly for video.
Mostly for video, but they will take pictures. But yeah, they're for active
Put on
life.
your
You put them on your you put them on your helmet. You strap it to your chest.
Yeah.
His wings.
Yes.
Fly.
You know, if you've seen the big controversy with drones, you know,
Yeah.
personal drones, it's typically a GoPro or equivalent of being strapped to a drone.
They just today, FCC is requiring you to register.
They're gonna
your
run,
own.
yes.
I heard that they were moving towards
Millions
that.
and millions of those things out.
So this video, the 1080p is what our TV sets are, most of them.
Yep.
The Retina is what? Less than 4K?
Less than 4K, but more than
1080p.
Yeah. Most computers are.
And
are
but
better
your
than
computer
1080p.
is 5K, the desktop.
My desktop is 5K. And that's simply the number of
And the new iPhones take 4K video.
Sandu's phone takes 4K video.
At something other faster than 15 frames.
I'm
per
sure
second,
it's
like
probably 30.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be 60. I would imagine it would be 30 frames per second.
You're gonna strap it to the squirrel to see where he's getting the truffles?
I haven't figured out what I'm doing. You can do some cool, you can drive them with the phones, I guess. So
Yeah,
I gotta check
there's all
this
kinds
out.
of.
You can drive them with, what do you mean?
Well, you can operate them.
With your phone?
So you're getting a drone for Christmas, are you?
I don't know.
Gotta register.
Are you gonna register?
Have you seen, the different, all subjects, but have you seen the drone pictures of the sockeye salmon and all that?
Yes, you said that.
Oh, those things are unbelievable.
Just
I know they're
thousands.
so red. I didn't realize they
They
were.
That's the
turn around.
sockeye.
Yeah,
That's the
Redfish Lake in Montana is the sockeye salmon.
There's millions and millions and millions of.
Yeah, and they flew a drone over these rivers. And
Wow.
man, that's incredible.
Hmm.
A lot of fish.
Is that something unusual, the number of fish?
I think it's
It's a
lately.
It's a better than normal
yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's
That's good.
cyclical. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, GoPros, and they're I haven't looked at others, but they're just like you've got Beats headphones are the popular thing right now. GoPro is the popular adventure video camera, but that's what they're designed for. And I mean, there's a million accessories out
Yeah.
there. One strap them to your helmet, strap it to your chest, strap it
Mhm.
to your. I think my cousin has one, and he has one, a strap for his surfboard. So you can basically self-video, either do selfies showing yourself or facing forward of where you're going,
Cool.
and taking video. And he's posted them on Facebook before. And it's great. It's all digital. There's no tape or anything. It's all built, it's a little memory card. Just plug it in, download it. There's no conversion or anything that has to be done, which is typical for most digital video and multimedia nowadays. So they're neat, and they're for what they are. I think they're well priced, even new, let alone clearance.
25% off.
Well, maybe that's,
Nice.
the inventor of it or that company, if they keep it in
Mhm.
the price range where people can,
Yeah.
stretch a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
What did you have to pay for it,
Well, I think they're about $400.
Mark? Okay.
Is the list price, $379 or something.
It depends
And
on
this
the
was
model
on
you wanna go
clearance,
with.
25% off.
Yeah. We can.
Sound like a business purchase.
Yeah, and no tax.
Let's pull this up on the screen real quick. There we go. So yeah, so there's different GoPro. That's right, and they recently updated their. I don't know how recent, but I do know that at least somewhat recently they've updated their lineup.
Yeah. This one is the Hero 4 Silver.
The silver.
Which I said is
Yeah. That's-
basically the same as the Hero 3 Black.
So yeah, so here they are. See all cameras. So the session at $200. So and that'll do up to 1440, which is a little better than 1080p at 30 frames per second. 8 megapixel
Do you know what the
camera.
what is over the what's the TV signal? How many frames per second that is?
No.
Guys are quick on.
Waterproof to 33 feet.
The picture you use your phone to take the clip. How are you taking the picture?
To be honest, I don't know.
Oh.
It's still in the box.
Okay.
So, I
This
mean,
must be,
Well, for what it's worth,
I think it has an on button, and then it just runs. And then somehow you can control it with your phone. There must be an app, a Hero 4 app or something.
Yeah, I think there's a GoPro app. Yeah.
for what it's worth, GoPro stock has gone from $97 to $16.
Oh. What happened?
For what it's worth.
Yep.
Mark got it.
Yeah. It's the last one, the last night.
So, anyway, there's all, they're all the rage. And they're great. They're water resistant, and then you can buy cases that make them waterproof, so you can take them underwater with you. Anything, everything. Pretty crazy. And again, there's probably others out there besides the GoPro.
Did you get anything, Bill?
Yeah, TV is 59.94 frames per second.
Oh, so that's good.
It's almost 60.
So
60 frames per second, your American TV.
So that must be why they say it's a 1080p. Because
So TV is 60 frames per
Yeah,
second.
60 seconds. According to Google, consumer electronics. But there seems to be a lot of variation in some of the comments.
Well, there's always what the manufacturer states, and then people will always put things through the stress test of what, actually happens as it's happening.
This other version says that US HD standard is 25 frames per second. So, quite a difference between 25 and 60.
The GoPro app. Yep, so you just download the GoPro app.
so what would the, Hero 4 session is quite a bit, is it half the price? Actually?
Half the price.
Is it
Here,
less
well,
features on it, or
yeah,
less
it's the
memory?
feature. No, it's not memory because it's external media. Just like if you buy a digital camera, you would buy the memory card for it. So same kind of thing. You buy the memory card for
Oh,
it.
so put
Uh,
a larger memory in it.
So this is slightly over 1080p, like I mentioned, with an 8 megapixel camera, and then other stuff, which may come important. So that's the 200. The black, which is the next one up, it's more expensive because I thought,
I think the silver is the next one.
is the
Yeah,
silver?
black-
Oh, it is.
black's
Okay.
better
They
than
just
that.
did it. They did it out of order. So the black is the top of the line. It's 4K video at 30 frames per second is what I'm guessing 4K 30 means. It's got a 12 megapixel camera with 30 frame per second burst. Well, and how fast it can take its
Oh,
shots,
for video.
I think. Because it's showing, that's the camera. So, and that also will depend on your memory card because your memory card also has to be able to process the pictures that fast also. So yeah, if you ever have a nice camera and it's got a burst photo, you want to make sure that it's a fast. Not all memory cards are the same. Got to buy higher quality ones to be able to do that. Yep.
I just learned that about HDMI cables too.
Mm-hmm.
Throughput.
Yep.
We were hooking up something and I happened to look at the wire, and it says 720p. We put it to a 1080p TV, and we've never gotten
Yeah.
that. So,
No, I didn't realize. Look and see what our cable.
Yep. Some of them have, and not maybe all of them do, but some of them boast of having Ethernet capabilities inside. I don't know exactly what. I've never bothered to look it up. And it's not, gold plated, better quality for sending the signal through. So in the middle of the road, there's $200 price difference between the base and the middle one. But anyway, 1080p at 60 frames per second.
so that's essentially a TV signal.
TV, yep.
Yeah.
That would be Blu-ray quality.
Oh, really?
1080 at 60 frames per second would be Blu-ray quality. Yeah. 12 megapixel camera, 30 frame per second burst. Control and share via Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, which is great.
So that's how the phone drives it.
Yep,
Bluetooth.
I'm sure it's through Bluetooth
Yeah.
because you're not always going to have the Wi-Fi signal. Waterproof to 131 feet.
I can think of all things. You catch one of your geese and put it on his back.
And yours has built-in touch display, Mark.
It does, yeah. That's one of the
Which-
Hero 4 advances.
Yeah. So anyway, so I wonder why this one is up to 1440. Isn't 1440 better than
You should
1080?
do a point of view from the altar.
There you go.
That would be cool.
So anyway, neat little devices.
Well, you'll become our expert on that.
Perfect.
We've had a problem. We're trying to using HDMI cable from the computer, get sound to come out through the computer, out through the TV,
Yes. So there's
and we've had difficulty.
I'm not sure why. I think it's which computer are you using? This new one?
We're using Rena's.
My laptop.
her
Your laptop?
yeah.
I don't
haven't
know.
tried this one yet.
For some reason with but I don't know. Anyway,
Is it a driver issue?
it's not a driver issue. It's I don't know why. And so I'll just leave it at that. But I do know what I do know is what it does is it still defaults to your computer speakers, even though you're plugging in a source that is both audio and video. And so you have to go into your little audio thing in the bottom right corner in your system tray and tell it to output to your TV.
Okay.
So because your computer can have multiple audio sources, because you can hook up regular, through the audio jack. You can
That's
plug
what
in
we had
headphones,
ended up doing, to use
or
those
you can
speakers.
plug in external speakers.
Yeah.
But so if I hit command and I think it's command, maybe it's control. There we go, control. But this or option, but it'll be different for a PC. But see, I had to manually select, and it I don't know if your PC will, but my Mac has now remembered that whenever I plug into this device, I want to use the TV speakers. And so Samsung, it knows it's a Samsung. And so now any sound that I play out of here will come out of the Samsung speakers instead of, and I had to do that at home because my old Windows laptop that I was using for work and for this class, even though it's goofy as heck, I have it hooked up upstairs to our TV and use it. So we've got like a 32-inch monitor.
For a TV or computer monitor.
Yeah, and we have because we have the desktop Mac at home now too. We had a wireless keyboard and mouse from our old desktop that was about 10 years old, like Bob's, and so we just transferred I transferred those to the laptop. So now we can sit on the couch and use the keyboard and mouse from the couch.
I could do that.
It comes really loud. But so it knows to send the audio signal to.
So that's one thing I could do with my old computer then. I can hook it up to the TV, with the wireless.
Yeah, I mean-
And then when we want to read mail or whatever, we can just, don't have to get up.
Mm-hmm. There are some adjustments you'll have to make as far as screen resolution. You'll have to mess with that because it's going to go to the resolution of the TV, and so things are
Yeah.
going to look itty bitty. You'll have to mess with that, and you may, depending on, you may have to mess with color and tone and brightness and all of those things to get it right. When I plugged in my laptop about 2 months ago, you really have to play with it so that
But
you
you'd have to, anytime you're watching TV, you'd have to change that.
No, because it would be plugged into a different source on your
Yeah,
TV,
okay,
so it's
source,
only
right.
affecting that source,
Yeah, okay.
not across the whole
Okay.
TV. Yeah.
Understand.
But it's great now, and we actually found out that since we have the TV hooked up there and we have Comcast, I can just go to Comcast.com, and it knows that my Wi-Fi is their Wi-Fi, and so we can watch live and on-demand TV on that computer. So on that TV. So there's no cable box hooked up to that TV, but we can access television from that TV without the cable box. It's pretty handy. Yep.
Well, when I push speaker, it just gave me the volume.
And you may have to go
I
to,
have to go into
well,
settings.
I think if you right click on it, Bill, and either properties or, yeah, how do you right click with the touch screen? I don't know.
See,
Maybe
that's-
maybe a touch and hold. I don't know. That's a great question. It's probably something simple.
Yeah, I'll go into settings.
So, but yeah, then you can just go into settings, audio devices, and then obviously it won't be there now because you're not plugged into anything. But
Yeah.
the name of your TV, Samsung, Sony, LG, Vizio, whatever it is, should come up as the name of the device.
That's one thing with a big keypad like this. I'm
Trackpad.
used to having buttons to push. Once you touch, you can go on to them. But how do you make it enter? Or,
Make what enter?
well, with my old computer, it has a key. Just like a mouse. You double click on this. All it has is this great big keypad.
Oh no, but the bottom corners.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
I'll
Christmas,
see you
Bob.
later, so.
Good.
Have a safe trip.
Have a safe trip and enjoy.
I will.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Permitting, I'll get over the system.
Well, you just time it.
So the Macs are the same way, and the Macs have been that way for quite a long time. Is there's no buttons on the trackpad, but they're there. They're just not separate. So if you just tap on the bottom, so if you tap on the bottom right, that's a right click, and if you tap on the bottom left, that's a left click. With your trackpad that you have there.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
That explains why I'm getting all these little menus.
And all I get is unpin, resize, and more.
Let me go check real quick. See if
Say I wanted to go to. I say,
Well, this would be your left click. This would be your right click. And you actually physically push down on it.
oh, push down.
Yeah.
Oh, I can feel it going, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's still there in the
The
Mac.
top is frozen, but the bottom is, yeah.
Yes. Yep. And you can scroll with that. If you from your right side, if you swipe up and down, you should be able to. Of course,
Oh.
it may require two. Yeah, 2 fingers will let you scroll up and down.
I saw something about two fingers.
Yeah.
So what is that, Bill?
This is a HP
Envy.
Spectrum.
Spectra 360. It's a 13-inch, has i7, 6th generation. I got the top there. I didn't go to the highest resolution because I found out in researching it, if I go to higher resolution, things get small.
Yep.
And with
It
my
always,
eyesight at this point, I don't need that.
which is what. Yeah.
Plus, I don't need that super quality resolution. It's only got 256K, 8 gigs of RAM. So it's not the over the top. Matter of fact, I bought it at Best Buy and where was I? Oh, I went to HP's site and they had $50 less. So I went to Best Buy and they
Price match.
the
Nice.
price match.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
Really good.
at this point, I'm still running,
Excellent. Yeah, and there's
still loading stuff onto it, but yeah.
it takes time.
But I have Carbonite, so it's just a matter, and I've looked, I can download.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how much Carbonite I have on there. I may-
You never realize
I may be
until-
selective on what I download. I may not
Yeah.
download everything.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you don't need everything.
You gotta take a look at the pictures and decide, whether I need to download all the pictures. I don't
Yeah.
want to duplicate. Because
Yep.
on my present pictures, I know I have duplications. So there is an app you can use to get rid of duplications.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
We don't have to even do that, I don't know.
Yeah, it can get a little scary, a little daunting. But yeah, there's different, and it'll be different for an HP. And I don't think they're universal for Windows, so you'd have to go to HP's website. But they're like for a Mac, Mark, a 4-finger swipe left and right will switch between your desktops if you've got multiple desktops open. So this is my standard desktop, and then this is the one that I always do class from, just so that I'm not confusing Windows.
And they're running all the time?
Yeah. Well, and typically though, I don't have
There's no activity.
a ton of stuff going on the second desktop, but and if you ever do something in full screen mode,
Yeah.
you click the little green button and it full screen, that becomes another desktop. So if you've got 2 open plus a full screen, you actually have 3 going, and you can swipe between all 3 with that same 4-finger motion. And Windows 10 does multiple, they're called virtual desktops, so that you can have multiple going at the same time. Windows 10 now has that feature.
Actually, that's kind of a useful thing because we have got an Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing is smart. It
It is.
senses your computer's there.
Yep.
If you click on it, it'll open whatever's on your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So to play a video or something, you could swipe back and forth from the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then if you push the 4th button in, so you've got escape, the 2 brightness buttons,
Yeah.
that will, I forget what it's called, but anything that's open and physically on your screen at the moment, not minimized, it'll spread them out so you can see what all is there. So if you look up on screen, it does that. And then you can drag them to the different desktops, or even drag them to a new one. And then the one next to that brings you to your little.
Is that like the dock, only more so? Sort of like the dock.
Mm-hmm. What's it called? Your launch pad. That 5th button in with the 6 squares takes you to your launch pad, which is all your, or almost all of your installed apps.
What's that next one?
I have a little icon on the taskbar that gives me the opportunity to go to all my windows. It's kind of got a 3-window or little icon,
I forget what that is, because that's not brightness.
active windows.
Oh, I think that's the brightness of your backlit keyboard
Oh.
when it's active.
Oh, I bet you're right.
So it'll, if you want them super bright or dim, or, just enough to
Just ask.
just enough to see. That's why they need Siri on the Mac. So you can Siri, what does the 5th button on the top row do with my Mac? Oh,
The fifth row button on the top of my HP do.
see, I don't think Cortana's gonna know that
No.
because it's an HP. Should be like, what's an HP?
Pittsburgh.
And then for real quick, and it's nothing groundbreaking or anything, but Apple did release iOS 9.2 for iPad, iPhone, and iPod touches. And it makes the music program, the music app better, the built-in music app works better. Some bug fixes and performance enhancements.
So what does the built-in music app do? Take you to iTunes?
If you've,
iTunes?
well, you can do limited Apple Radio. It's Apple, it's radio, but if you pay for their service, then it's a more feature-rich experience, like being able to save playlists and different things like that instead of their They've got Beats Radio 1 or whatever it's called, which is a 24-hour, 24/7 streaming radio. So you can do that instead of something like Pandora or Spotify. And then, if you load any music from your Mac onto your phone, that's where all of your music will be. And then you can pay for Apple Music, and you can basically, it's not their entire library by any means, but most music you can then just stream for free. Well, not for free. It's $10 a month for a personal plan. So for $10 a month, you can, instead of buying albums of music, you can just type it in, but then you also have to take into account that you're paying, if you're not at home and not using your Wi-Fi network and you're listening to Apple Music streaming, then you're paying for your cellular data, just like what we talked about earlier.
I see this podcast button here when you've talked about that before. Have
Yes.
you heard about this podcast called Serial? It's this woman who produces this podcast. and
Oh,
she
that's the
does-
name of the podcast.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were talking about a podcasting app.
No, and she does trials, and she follows the trial in great detail, and apparently it's just addictive to listen to it. But her latest one is she did 26 hours of interviews with this Bo Bergdahl, the sergeant guy, and now has come out with a 1 or 2 hour podcast on it. It's where he says his side of the story is what happened to him. It's supposed to be fascinating. I don't know how to do it yet.
Know how to do.
The podcast thing. I mean, I have them on my iTunes deal, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't spent the time. I can't even watch TED videos. I don't have the time to sit there for 45 minutes and watch a TED video. You guys watch those? There are hundreds of them out there.
You can listen. You can download the audio version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just listen instead of watch. So then you can do it in the car.
Mm.
And again, as we talked about before with podcasts, you can download it over Wi-Fi. And there's even a setting for that to say, I only want you to even if you notice there's a new one, I only want you to download it next time I'm connected to Wi-Fi. And then, you
Is
can
that,
download the
if
tech.
you're using public Wi-Fi, is that fairly secure if you're
No.
downloading that kind of stuff? Nothing is.
Well,
I mean, you're not using any personal information.
Right.
In theory, but it makes me nervous that they might be able to get into my computer anyhow,
Yeah, computers.
through the back door, or whatever.
Yeah, computers are more vulnerable, but I wouldn't be too concerned about a phone, especially an iPhone. But it also depends on where you are. I mean, I've done them I do it at airports all the time, and I've never had an issue. But I'm usually only on my phone or my tablet. But like places in town here, I'm really not concerned about someone hacking into Urocco's Wi-Fi. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Look around and see who's sitting there.
Yeah. You know, there's a total of 10 people that can sit in Urocco at once. So doubt anyone's going to be.
It's the guy sitting out in the street.
That's right.
Well, there goes, I gotta get all his information.
So
There was one on the other day that said your boarding pass that most people just throw them away at the end. Southwest takes them, or sometimes they take them anyway. But they said in the barcode that there's your home address and your phone number, your
Mhm.
email address. There's a lot of personal data in that. And most people just throw them away. With the shopping QR reader apps, you can reveal all that stuff.
This guy's traveling and I know where he lives.
Yeah.
crazy. One last real quick thing. I don't know why it popped in my head at this moment, but I recently started getting these emails, and I think either my spam blocker is finally listening to me telling it it's spam, or they stopped emailing me. But I started getting these emails from My Life telling me that I've got someone has recently looked at my background check like information and log into their website, etc. Apparently, it's all a scam. It's the website claims to be a mix between social media like Facebook and background information, and it also happened around the same time that someone in the office was doing background checks, and so I thought,
Yeah.
but mine hadn't been run, and so it was just complete coincidence. And so I was like, why is this happening? So if you get things from My Life, either asking them to join for social media purposes or for background check purposes, don't do it. In fact, they're in a lawsuit right now. Becca found information about it, and they're
I had a
being
weird
sued
thing
by
yesterday.
someone.
I got a survey from RCI,
Mm-hmm.
Saying, we'd like to survey you for the purchase you made yesterday. And I wasn't even on their site, and
Yeah.
it makes me leery. I mean, it has all the stuff underneath it, and
Yep.
if you do, well, then you're in line for a $200 certificate. I was going to email RCI and see if they actually did it, because REI.
REI,
Yeah, REI, which you would think would be just
Tell you, the linkages are, the same links that the suggested friends on Facebook. I mean, how do they know?
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 orders of magnitude
away
out.
from it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the same way. I was on the Bose website last night, and as soon as I clicked out of it, I got an email from Bose, which somehow they sensed my IP address, I guess, hitting their website, and came right back with the marketing thing.
Would you like to complete your purchase?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever had that when I'm signed up to their website. Like when I buy my fish supplies, sometimes I'll add stuff to the cart, and they'll say, "We see you added things to your cart, but you didn't actually make the purchase.
Yeah.
Come back now and complete your order."
Or we'll give you 10% off too.
Yeah, they've done that. They said, "We'll give you $5 off your order if you complete your purchase in the next 24 hours." So, all right. Good luck on your
Thank you
holiday
very much.
shopping.
No
Yeah.
class next week. Or is there?